Hello and welcome to this week's pause session with Dr Asha Patel, clinical psychologist and founder of Innovating Minds. This session is going to be focused on the phrase attention seeking, and I'm really keen to make sure that we have conversations, particularly when there's elephants in the room and there's phrases that are being used and sometimes actually have a wider impact on the children and young people that we're trying to support. So a lot of the time when we come up with a rationale around attention seeking, it's typically in the case when a child is displaying a behaviour that challenges, and it's a behaviour that is challenging staff. It might be behaviour that is violent and aggressive, and it's probably against the rules. So, and when we come to think about, well, what's going on? So somebody will be asking some questions, or you're asking yourself in terms of what has led to this behaviour occurring. So we're looking at the function of the behaviour. Quite often teams and people will come to the conclusion that it's attention seeking. And actually, when we come to that conclusion and we stop right there, that actually starts to become more harmful than actually beneficial for the staff team, but also for the child as well. There's a couple of reasons for this. When we think about attention seeking, there's quite a negative connotation with it. So there's an unbiased, an unconscious relationship that we have with this phrase. And it's actually seen quite negative, quite a bad thing to be doing, to be seeking attention. But the reality is all of us need attention. It's hardwired into us to seek connection, to be seen, and therefore it's actually a need for the children and for adults. And whether you'd like to admit it or not, the reality is adults also need to have attention, and they also seek attention as well. So when we're thinking about children, particularly in relation to difficulties, so behaviours that challenges that we've seen and they're experiencing, what I want you to do is, if we're talking about this and somebody says, oh, well, they're doing it for attention, I want you to acknowledge it, but also then push a little bit further and say, okay, so why would a child need to be at this stage? What has led to them to get to this stage, that they're in such emotional distress that we're viewing it as attention seeking, but what else might be going on for this young person? And the reason for this, it gets people to think beyond the attention seeking statement and start to make the connections that actually children need to be seen. So in a way to get seen, it might be their only safety survival way, their only mechanism, the only way that they know that's hardwired into their brains. Doesn't mean it can't be changed, but it's their go-to strategy to be seen. And we all need to be seen. Also, children need to feel safe. And therefore, if they don't feel safe, they need to be able to elicit staff support and find ways to elicit that support to help them to feel safe. So it might mean that their body's feeling unsafe, and therefore you might see an escalation in behaviour that challenges, and that escalation in behaviour that challenges results in maybe staff having to intervene, whether it's through verbal de-escalation. In some settings it might be through gentle holds. So there's needing to be thinking about, okay, so what might be going on for that young person, that they in such an emotional distress state, that they're feeling really unsafe. They might be feeling that they're not seen by people around them. They might be quite lonely and isolated. So even if there are people and staff around them physically, that feeling of loneliness and isolation might be still there for that individual. Also, children need to feel secure. And again, this comes back to that connection with the relationship with people that they have to help them feel secure. So yes, your environment might be physically secure, but actually they need to feel secure as well. Their body needs to feel secure. So that happens through co-regulation with adults, safe, grounded adults. So therefore, if our staff are thinking, well, actually they're doing this behaviour to seek attention, so as a result, I'm not going to offer attention, so they won't do it the next time. That is not the case. So don't fall into this trap thinking, well, actually, we're going to go through a punitive and a consequence-based approach to stop them from doing this. Actually, we want to be doing the opposite. We want to give them more experiences of co-regulation, of an empathic, grounded adult with them. That helps them to feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. And these are really important factors for our children to be able to start their healing process. So what could you do instead of? So if somebody says they're attention seeking and actually your staff get stuck on this phrase, get them to use different phrases instead. So it might be that actually these children are seeking help, so they're help seeking, they're connection seeking, they're care seeking. And automatically what happens is people's perception starts to change. And also we start to increase empathy towards the young people. And it's those slight language changes that make a significant difference, because all of a sudden people start to think about things differently. Attention seeking comes across quite negative for whatever reason, because of our own experiences that we've been brought up on, our own values and beliefs around attention seeking. But actually when somebody says they're connection seeking, they're help seeking, all of a sudden our response to that language change changes. So I hope that's been helpful in just thinking about how you can change and support staff to shift away from including around children and attention seeking and using different languages, and the impact of using attention seeking on teens and children. Do drop me a line if you have any comments or any reflections after today's session. Do let me know. I'm always interested to get some feedback, but also to learn more about what you need for these upcoming sessions.